Hi, my name is Joanna Whitney. I am an intuitive artist, a student of natural law, and an energy healer. And we're reading from this book, The Kybalion by the Three Initiates, which contains 7 principles, which are some of the natural laws. And I just want to say I did have quite a bit of an experience with natural law this week, and I think it's directly resulted from this study because it's just bringing into my life so many examples of natural law. The first thing I experienced this week was trying to help someone who didn't ask for help, and that backfired. And so I had to recognize when I looked at my personal actions as a result of why I felt crappy at the end of the whole experience was that the person had not asked for help. They had put forward something that was extremely showed that they needed help, but they didn't see that they needed help and they didn't ask for help. So my helping them just placed me in a position to be harmed. And I wrote about that in a document or on a web page that I will include in the description because I'm starting to write about how to practice natural law in situations that come up every day. And I'm doing an A through Z sort of topics on how to practice natural law in everyday situations, because I'm having a lot of situations every day right now that I think could be helpful to others. And the other thing that happened this week was that I was attacked on social media, which, is something that happens all the time to me anyway. And I was able to just keep my balance and practice natural law. Basically, which just means to stay in a state of neutrality, neither endorsing nor opposing anybody's cause, not reacting, not defending myself, but simply stating my intention and backing away from the situation. I offered to meet people in person, and again, I published a synopsis of how to deal with conflict using natural law on this website of mine. So I'll include that in the description, and maybe that will be helpful for people to start to see how to put this stuff into practice. Because it can be quite, in reading this book, it can be quite abstract. And how do you actually put this stuff into action? It's really based on treating others the way I want to be treated. But, these days it's kind of hard to see that sometimes. You kind of have to analyze how you would really want to be treated in situations. Like if I don't ask for help and someone offers to help me, I usually feel annoyed by that. I kind of need to find my own humility to ask for help in order to become ready to receive help. If I'm attacked for something I say, treat others how I would like to be treated. Well, it's best if I don't react to that. It's best if people are left holding their own bag of stinky shit, to be quite frank about it, in order for them to realize what they have been up to. It's not going to help others for me to take their bag, and simply by responding to an attack, I take their bag. So instead, the best way to do it is to either say nothing to their attack and just let it fizzle out, or to just back away slowly and to perhaps claim what I did do. So I did do that, and then I backed away slowly from the situation and let them all, you know, have a field day together. Okay, page 47, chapter 7, the all in all. And in this, the all is all capitalized, and in all, in is small letters and all is capitalized, A is capitalized, and the two L's are small. So the all in all. In other words, God in creation. You could look at it that way. And I will, try to help with this because it can be kind of difficult to awaken to. So the first statement says, while all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge, the Kybalion. It's really not difficult to understand this. I mean, you can, and this is something I recommend that you do, is that you go out for a walk in nature and make the statement, staring at a tree. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. It will be easy to see this in nature. And then you can say to yourself that you have, that great knowledge has come to you. The idea, though, is to try to see it in the chaos of what we currently are experiencing in our world. And that is one contribution that we can make towards bettering the world. And I'll explain in a few minutes. To go on, it says, how often have the majority of people heard repeated the statement that their deity, called by many names, was, quote, all in all? And how little have they suspected the inner occult truth concealed by these carelessly uttered words? The commonly used expression is a survival of the ancient Hermetic maxim quoted above. As the Kybalion says, quote, to him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge, end quote. And this being so, let us seek this truth, the understanding of which means so much. In this statement of truth, this Hermetic maxim is concealed one of the greatest philosophical, scientific, and religious truths, which is basically that spirit is in everything. We have given you the Hermetic teaching regarding the mental nature of the universe. The truth that the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. As the Kybalion says in the passage quoted above, all is in the all. But note also the correlated statement that it is equally true that the all is in all. This apparently contradictory statement is reconcilable under the law of paradox. It is, moreover, an exact Hermetic statement of the relations existing between the all and its mental universe. We have seen how all is in the all. Now let us examine the other aspect of the subject. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is immanent in its universe. And so when they say immanent, and then they go into the definition of immanent, which means remaining within, inherent, abiding within. So let's reread that. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is immanent in its universe, and in every part, particle, unit, or combination within the universe. This statement is usually illustrated by the teachers by a reference to the principle of correspondence. The teacher instructs the student to form a mental image of something, a person, an idea, something having a mental form. The favorite example being that of the author or dramatist forming an idea of his characters, or a painter or sculptor forming an image of an ideal that he wishes to express by his art. In each case, the student will find that while the image has its existence and being solely within his own mind, yet he, the student, author, dramatist, painter, or sculptor, is, in a sense, immanent in, remaining within, or abiding within the mental image also. In other words, the entire virtue, life, spirit of reality in the mental image is derived from the immanent mind of the thinker. Consider this for a moment until the idea is grasped. I mean, this is profound and especially interesting in this digital age where, so for example, you know, we have AI now creating art and writing. What does that even mean? It's hard to grasp that idea, but I guess I would have to say in this context that the all is in AI and AI is in the all. Just for, because you have to look at the yin yang symbol, for example. I personally feel that AI is evil and hopefully we'll never use it, but it is still within the all because it exists and nothing can be separate from the all. So if I think that way, it's not that I would use it. I still don't want to use it, but I can think that way and it will make my mind more holistic and it will make me less fragmented to think that way, and probably make me more useful to others if I don't think that there's things outside the all. Since my mind is causal, that's what they're saying here. So consider this for a moment until the idea is grasped. And that's an instruction which you can do later. To take a modern example, let us say that Othello, Iago, Hamlet, Lear, Richard III existed merely in the mind of Shakespeare at the time of their conception or creation. And yet Shakespeare also existed within each of these characters, giving them their vitality, spirit, and action. Whose is the spirit of the characters that we know as Micawber, Oliver Twist, Uriah Heep? Is it Dickens? Or have each of these characters a personal spirit independent of their creator? Have the Venus of Medici, the Sistine Madonna, the Apollo Belvedere spirits and reality of their own, or do they represent the spirit and mental power of their creators? Again, think about that with regards to artificial intelligence. Basically, they're alluding to the idea of thought forms and egregores, which you can look into yourself. I would say artificial intelligence is an egregore. And I'm not crazy about that, but basically what they're saying here is that there's no way to create anything without lending part of your spirit to it. So therefore, it's just the ideas. We're just ignorant of the idea of an egregore in a thought form because it hasn't been integrated into teaching. We don't learn about that. We think that when we create something, it's done and we have no more connection to it, or maybe we do think we have a connection to it, but we never think about it in this way. That we have given it, it's a part of our spirit, and that sort of gives it some autonomy. It does have some autonomy. Like if you sell a piece of artwork to someone, then it is left you and it is autonomous in its own spiritual nature in that person's home or wherever it is. Which, you know, goes back to just the idea of paying attention and single-mindedness when you are creating something, because you want to be able to bring in the greatest good to the object, so that if it does become autonomous in this sort of way, that it's positive, that it's a positive autonomy that brings light to the person. But it's just not something that is readily available to us. It could even be scary to think about this in a way, because I don't think it's common knowledge to think about giving, in a way, a golem, creating a golem and breathing your own spirit into that golem to bring it alive. These are occulted theories that aren't talked about. It's actually not a theory, it's actually true. But it isn't really talked about in the mainstream. Okay, so the law of paradox explains that both propositions are true, viewed from the proper viewpoints. Macabre is both macabre and yet Dickens. And again, while macabre may be said to be Dickens, yet Dickens is not identical with macabre. Man, like macabre, may exclaim, quote, "The spirit of my creator is inherent within me, and yet I am not he," end quote. How different this from the shocking half-truth so vociferously announced by certain of the half-wise, who fill the air with their raucous cries of, "I am God." Imagine poor Macabre or the sneaky Uriah Heep crying, "I am Dickens," or some of the lowly clods in one of Shakespeare's plays eloquently announcing that I am Shakespeare. The all is in the earthworm, and yet the earthworm is far from being the all. And still the wonder remains that though the earthworm exists merely as a lowly thing, created and having its being solely within the mind of the all, yet the all is immanent in the earthworm and in the particles that go to make up the earthworm. Can there be any greater mystery than this of all in the all and the all in all? I mean, just imagine that, like if you're watching Klaus Schwab talk to the World Health Organization and imagining that the all is in Klaus Schwab, but Klaus Schwab is not the all. Imagine that. Imagine that. I would say that that's probably one of the greatest things we could probably do right now, is to think that way. You know, maybe I will be doing that. I will try that out on the chemtrails. Like I will look up at the sky and see a chemtrail plane and say, the all is in all, but all is not the all. Or I will say this statement, you know, all is in the all, and the all is in all. I could say that too. That might neutralize it if I say that. And it might be easier on my spirit to do that than to fight against it. I'm going to give it a shot. The student will, of course, realize that the illustrations given above are necessarily imperfect and inadequate, for they represent the creation of mental images in finite minds, while the universe is a creation of infinite mind, and the difference between the two poles separates them. And yet, it is merely a matter of degree. The same principle is in operation. The principle of correspondence manifests in each, as above, so below, as below, so above. And in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit immanent within his being, so will he rise in the spiritual scale of life. This is what spiritual development means. The recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. Try to remember this last definition, that of spiritual development. It contains the truth of true religion. So that would be a really great meditation, would be to sit and meditate on that the all is in me, in you. And then allow that realization, the word realization, to make real. Allow that to embody your experience and your mind and your thoughts, your heart. You could feel that in your heart chakra. It would be very good for you as inside your body, all your organs. It would be very good for your organs for you to be meditating on the all is in me. The all is immanent in me. God is in me. The creator is in me. That is a declaration. And declaring that is very powerful. It is one of the most powerful things we have. There are many planes of being, many subplanes of life, many degrees of existence in the universe, and all depend upon the advancement of beings in the scale, of which scale the lowest point is the grossest matter, the highest being separated only by the thinnest division from the spirit of the all, which is in caps. Spirit of is small and the all are in caps. And upward and onward along the scale of life, everything is moving. All are on the path, whose end is the all. All progress is a returning home. All is upward and onward, in spite of all seemingly contradictory appearances. Such is the message of the illumined. I'm going to stop there for now, but that is extremely important right now. It's so easy to fall into reading something really disturbing and feeling, some negativity about it. But then if you confirm that the all is in all, and all is in the all, if you confirm that, then you have contributed into changing the shape of that statement, of that belief, of that idea in the etheric plane. And in a way, you could see the flower of life in it. You could imagine sacred geometry as you're reading that or seeing that thing. You could imagine some sacred geometry behind, or the atoms and molecules working together in the thing that seems incongruent. The all is in all. All is in the all. And that would be a great contribution. I do something a little different, similar, but a little different. Like whenever I see something that's very disturbing to me, or I read something very disturbing, I just pray. I say, God, please take care of this. And that's a similar thing to say. But I try to do that continuously. And I'm going to try doing this as well, because I think this takes a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more work on my part to actually visualize that and have that be my contribution to the situation, to try to elevate it into the next dimension. Until next time.